Hello, hello. Uh, it's Wednesday, and here we are. It's Amelia, and it's the Wednesday coffee catch up time. If you are in the chat, and it looks like not too many folks are waiting, which is totally cool. But if you are here, please let me know that you can hear me and see me, and that all is well and all is good. While we're waiting for the YouTube notifications to go out, I'm just going to dither and say, hey, what's up? Tell you a little bit about the plan for the day, which is mostly drinking coffee and then just talking about how the last week is gone and then the plans for the week going forward. I personally have a big work weekend planned. I'm very tan at the moment because, again, I spent a bunch of time outside with my kids in the last couple of days and it's been really awesome. But now I have a lot of stuff to do and I'm excited about it. And so if folks do not jump on and it looks like I am talking to myself so far, that's totally cool. Catch me on the replay. If you are here live, let me know. And if you are here on the replay, let me know. And it'd be great to catch up with everyone. There is Alexander and Margaret. What is going on, folks? It may be a small group today. We may not be here the whole hour. That's totally cool. Mostly what I want to talk about today is how we are doing and any progress from the last week. And this is also a great opportunity to crowdsource challenges or questions, basically just sort of be around people who are doing the same thing. Mersic, and you'll have to remind me if I got the pronunciation right. I will get it, my friend. I will get it. You just have to keep reminding me if I don't do it right. But hello, there is Alexander, who is basically getting the Superhuman Award for being here on vacation. It's great to have you here as always. And it's just also really great to have you in the MIGA group, by the way, because you're not in the MIGA group. I'm thinking of Adrian. Oh my God, I need to drink more coffee. All right, Alexander. It's still great to have you. And I was thinking of Adrian. Mersig said that I got his name right. And I was like, yes, I knew I would get it. Sarah's Veggie Kitchen says, newbie, hello. And I say, Sarah, welcome. This is a great place to be for folks who know what they're doing and folks who do not, because there's a lot of us here who are doing the same thing and can answer questions if we know the answers. And if I don't know the answer, which happens often, I kick it to the chat and the folks in the chat are really helpful. So, if you're a newbie here and you've never been before, like what brings you here to the stream and what can we do to help? That's awesome. Steven says, hey, and I say, hey, Steven. He says, how's it going? It's halfway through July. How's your competition with Chris going? Well, the plan is to make my month 0 video either today or tomorrow to get it released this week, basically to say, here it goes. Chris and I had made some other content to go out, but it hasn't gone out, and I'm not sure why Chris is holding it. I have a feeling that he's got his own plan for it, but I had planned to get my month 0 video out this week, so I would expect to see it soon. And the thumbnails were created by Cyrus, and Cyrus is here. I say thank you, because I do not make thumbnails that good, but they so expect to see that in your notifications here fairly shortly. But so far the site has been started, and I have created the initial content for it, and I am really fired up about it because it's leaning on some information and skills that I have not utilized before for the internet. So I'm fired up about it. But yes, it is going. And I know Chris is already ahead of me as far as, he's been ahead of me this whole time as far as keyword research and, picking out a domain name. And I basically, on the first, chose the niche and the domain and did the initial keyword research and did it all at once, like in a hurry. So I would not be surprised to see him jump out to an early lead at the end of the first Q1. There is commit. Oh my God, you guys. I think we could just stop now because Sean is here. And basically, the live stream is now complete. Commit just went on a really cool vacation. And I wish that he could post pictures here and show it all to us because it's cool. But he's a great example of folks who are taking advantage of this lifestyle. And getting around the world to different places and getting to see different things. And if I were 10 years younger, I would basically be right next to him because that's the life I would love to live. There's Sabina. What is going on? Happy Wednesday, right? Sabina, what are you working on this week coming up? I would love to know and love to talk about it. And Alexander says, no offense. I can only blame lack of caffeine. I will totally push the blame onto the fact that I have not drank enough coffee today. Margaret says, don't let Chris psych you out already. No. There's no psych out here. I am just naturally extremely lacking in self-confidence. And so this is just how it plays out. And plus, I just think of Chris as an excellent opponent. So I'm going to respect his skills all the way through. I might talk trash at some point, but always with respect because he does a good job at what he does. Sabina says, hello to Sarah. Again, we're welcoming Sarah, who's new to the group. There is Mohammed. Welcome to the group. So what is everybody working on? What has everybody managed to accomplish in the last week? And what are we planning on going and working on in the future? I was out with my kids for a good portion of the last week. I started teaching them how to fish, which is kind of hilarious and sort of like trying to pick up wet spaghetti. Like you think of like if somebody were to throw like a big pot of wet spaghetti and like trying to pick it up and like move it somewhere, that's it's like teaching multiple children at once to fish. It's like chaos. But I have, before I left, I had used my entire outsourcing budget for the MIGA site and had ordered all of my articles. So now that I'm back, all those articles are back. So the first thing I'm going to do today before I do anything else is ask you guys to smash the like button because there's only one like and somebody always hits the dislike. And so let's at least like combat that guy or gal, whoever it is. But the first thing I'm going to do after I finish the stream is immediately go to all of that content, review it, and get it posted. So then what that will do is complete my MIGA content goal for the month, because the goal for the month of July was to get 30 articles posted, and that was less than the 50 from the past months. And it's not really moving the needle as much as I would like to get to my goal of 500 posts for the year, but it still will give me some time to focus on the cage fight site because I have 15 posts I can write for the month because we have a content cap. That way, nobody can just like destroy each other on content. So I have 15 posts to write for that site. And I have only 3 of those done so far. So I have a lot of content to write. And it takes me a lot longer to create that content. So I'm going to post all of those today. I'm going to make my month 0 video for the cage fight series so I can start documenting that. And then the rest of the weekend, I'm just going to buckle down and see how much of the cage fight content I can complete by the end of the weekend. Chris is actually not here because he, I think, is backpacking. So one, we can talk behind his back. Not that he'll not watch this on the replay. Hi, Chris. But also just so that I would love to get ahead of him. Just like the sneaky competitive me, I would love to get ahead of him. Steven says, hey, I'm not sure if I updated you about my big site. I'm pretty sure you didn't. And I look forward to updates. Said I was with Ezoic for over a year, starting June 8th. I switched to Mediavine and my revenue has jumped from $35 a day to $75 a day. Wow. That has got to be one of those things where you're like checking all day, like looking at the stats, like, is this for real? Is this for real? I mean, that's what I do often when things are going really well with the site is like, I can't stop myself from checking it constantly because it's the dopamine rush, right? You get the rush of positive, like happy chemicals just keep going. And so it's really hard not to just keep looking, but well done. That is exciting. Hughes of Delahaye. Hey, if you have a name, otherwise I'll have to call you Hughes of Delahaye. And names are good because they're easier to say, but I'm happy to call you Hughes as well. Hello, Hughes, and welcome. If you are new to the stream and you have not been here before, it delights me to get to know you folks and what you guys are working on. And I don't always remember everybody for everything, like Q, Adrian, and Alexander, my like total biff, like poo-poo in the first 5 minutes of the stream, but nobody's perfect. Commit says, your weekend vacation photos trump mine, though. I'll do better next time. Well, here's the thing. Sean, you went to this really awesome place, but it was full of people who knew about this really awesome place. And I went to a really awesome place, which almost nobody knows about. And so we were the only ones there. So those are the places that I am looking to go to that aren't on Instagram, and maybe other people won't find them. Maybe you'll have to come to Oregon and I'll take you there. That's what that I will extend that offer to you, Sean. Come here and I will take you there, and there will be nobody else there to get in your photos. Margaret says, yay to Stephen. I concur. Sabina says, I'm going to create some real topic clusters. Blogging 201, here I come. Yep, well, we talked about this. Basically, every month you're going to learn so much, right? And it's like, think about where you were last month. Like, think about the things that we were talking about just a month ago. And then it like kind of fries your brain a little bit about how much you learn. Like, it's extraordinary. So well done. Well done. Like sticking with it. Sarah says, I've been watching the replays and decided to come on out. Well, welcome. You should have seen one of my live streams or videos I made last year where I actually filmed myself climbing out of the closet, which released all kinds of questions about things that I wasn't trying to convey. I just thought it'd be silly to climb out of the closet, but then it set off this chatter about what I really meant by climbing out of the closet, and but that meant about me personally. But anyway, I started my first site in October 2020 and a second one in April. I'm learning a lot and making a lot of mistakes. Well, I think, first of all, well done for a couple of reasons. One is jumping on a live stream and actually announcing yourself, because there's a lot of people here who come to these or watch them on the replay who never say anything. And I feel like, for me personally, one of the things that helped me make the transition from like this being a hobby to being serious was like coming out and telling people that, one, I was doing it, and then actually seeking I don't say guidance and help, because that's not really what I do here. It's just being a part of the community, because it also meant that it was hard to not do the work, right? Because people knew who I was and what my goals were. And so it just has helped me stay on this path. So I if I had my noisemaker, my children stole it, I would play it. But instead, I'll pat you on the back for being courageous and saying, I want other people to know that I'm doing this, and I'm okay to say, yeah, I started some sites and I'm learning, and the learning process is really long. So if there's something I can help you with, or any of us here can help you with, we think of it like a rising tide and lifting all ships. It would be really great for us to help any way we can, because that's how we get there, everybody. Sabina says, I'm finding that a bunch of my list of keywords are basically the same. It's a tangled web. I'm going to try the Ezoic test again this week. Yeah, it's figuring out what to write about and like untangling all of the keyword research that you do. I think the keyword clusters is really helpful for that. It's like creating a sort of a map, like a to-do list, like an honest to-do list, rather than saying, okay, like, what of the thousands of keywords that I have chosen will I work on today? It's like, okay, if I have just this list of 10 keywords, that's 10 articles that I'm going to write, and I will do nothing else until I have completed those. I think that is going to help you get going. As far as the Ezoic test, yeah, Ezoic will always be there. You get it done when you get it done, and it'll be great when you have it, because the analytics are really cool. But in the meantime, don't stress it. Like, seriously, don't stress it. Let's see. Sabina says, I'm trying to help my brother monetize his webcomic website. It's a funny guy, Portuguese. He's a funny guy, Portuguese geese. I don't honestly know what Portuguese. So Portuguese geese, like that's his brand, is Portuguese geese, because it's funny to say. Steven says, yeah, totally. I check constantly. I'm getting 15% from their video ads. Yeah, I'm obsessive and I have to stop. And in fact, going away from this last weekend, I had the best weekend ever on the MIGA site on a weekend that I wasn't even present. And I say best weekend ever, like as far as traffic. So like I'm slowly edging my way up to a 1,000 page view day, but my traffic is like cyclical on the weekends. So it goes like this. So every weekend it just goes a little bit higher. And so was kind of glad I wasn't there because I would have been all day like watching it like, ooh, where's it going? Ooh, where is it going? But I was kind of, worried about, the updates and how that would play out. But it was cool to come back and then see it go like this, like, and it did that while I was doing something else. Hughes says, I started my second site in July of 2020 and working to get to Mediavine by 2021. Okay, Donna K. Now I know. I'm going to connect to that because Donna K, you're in the MIGA group. So I'm connected now. I was not connected before, but now I will never forget that is Donna K. And by the way, thanks for jumping into the MIGA group. It's always fun and cool to see new people come in and hopefully get something out of it. It's a lot of fun. So you have 2 sites and Mediavine by the end of 2021. My question is, how close are you? And what are you going to do to get there? There's 24K. Will, how's it going, Will? Have you created any new videos lately? Because I feel like maybe I haven't checked over there. And am I missing them? Because if I'm missing them, let me know. I want to go over there and check them out. Will says, did anyone have a drop in organic traffic at the beginning of July? I will kick that to the chat for folks to answer. We know that there was an update that rolled out at the beginning of July. Me personally, I haven't noticed anything dramatic. My MIGA site is growing per normal, and the rest of my stuff sort of bouncing up and down as it usually does. Marika says, and hey, Marika, it's good to see you, by the way. Good to have you here. She said that she saw a drop in impressions. Will says, no, mine hasn't really recovered because Margaret was asking whether his came up. Again, he said it has not. One of the things I was looking at was my Google Search Console. And one of the things that I had noticed in June was that my LCP situation with mobile, so for my core web vitals, had been really, really bad for a long time. And all of a sudden that updated and it was green. It was yellow. It went from red to yellow. And I thought, ooh, there's an update. So, Google said that they were going to be updating the core web vitals stuff. And so I thought that was good. But then let's see, in the last week, right around when the update rolled out, all of my core web vitals went to green, all of them straight across the board in Google Search Console. And what I noticed 2 or 3 days ago, I just got home after the weekend and checked. I used to have 0% of my pages had good page experience. And I noticed that in the last couple of days, I noticed that I had some that had good page experience. And now I have 86.2 of the URLs on my MIGA site are a good page experience. Also, because I'm using Leap with Ezoic, all of my core web vital scores there also jump to green. My desktop is scoring an 88 and mobile is scoring an 84. And basically, like in my technology, I haven't done any updates, right? Like I've got all kinds of crap that is red. Like I need to update the Google font and the table of contents. And it hates that I'm using Ultimate add-ons and code snippets and all this stuff. I haven't updated any of that stuff. So I've done nothing. And I don't know if Ezoic has been doing anything, but the fact that things have adjusted themselves in Google Search Console and the timing, it's really hard for me to ignore that it happened right around when the update happened. And so maybe part of what was rolling out in this broad core update, like another one, had to do with updating Core Web Vitals. I don't know what that means as far as people's traffic. I haven't seen a bunch of changes. That's pretty much all I've seen. It's like for me personally for the update, but I did think it was interesting that all of my core vitals scores suddenly just went and wondered if anybody else went from 0 good URLs to a percentage or even better than mine. Sarah says, I'm pretty sure my mother-in-law thinks I'm crazy and that I'm wasting my time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my family also thinks the same, or they think I'm doing something illegal, or that it's a scam, or that I'm sending money to Nigeria in response to emails that I received. And I just ignore that. And I try to surround myself with people who understand where I'm coming from, and not worry about those folks because they don't understand. Sabina says, if she is she really a mother-in-law if she doesn't understand? She says, I work early in the morning, so no one knows how much time I spend. Yeah, it's like cheating on everybody else's life, right? Like you're sneaking around, like trying to make money online. Like, what are you doing? Nothing. Drugs. Like when you're really in there, like on your computer trying to make money, writing a blog post. Mohammed says, I mostly do traffic arbitrage. That is a skill that I do not have, though I respect people who do it really well. Just because I can't write good enough English copy. And with the Azok updates, I'm thinking about starting an Arabic website. SEO is so much easier. The RPM, though. Yeah, the traffic source is a really key component to whether or not you'll have a high RPM. I just wonder, is there room for an Arabic language website targeting folks in tier 1 countries? Like, there are definitely tons of people in the US who speak Arabic, who are from countries that speak Arabic. I mean, we're just assuming that if you're going to be making a language in another a website in another language, that you'd be targeting folks in other countries, and certainly that will happen. But I just wonder, could you make a website in Arabic specifically targeting people in the United States? So maybe it's a travel website for folks that are in the United States already who are looking for those topics. I don't know. I just think that there is money to be made there in other languages because it's going to be less competitive. I mean, and definitely, you're up against like the Google Translate and folks that are getting their websites translated. There has to be a way to use the skill that you have to target a tier 1 audience. I don't know how to do that, but I think that it has to be there. Sarah says she tells people what she's doing and it's like crickets. Yes. And what's hard about it is that I don't even necessarily know how to communicate what it is that I do, because it's not like a job like landscaper, like truck driver, like computer technician. The thing that I do is I write content for blogs that I own and manage, right? Like digital assets that I own and manage. But you say content publisher and people are like, what? You say, well, I build and grow websites, and they say, oh, you make websites. I'm like, yeah, but that's not really the focus of what it is that I do. I don't make websites every day. I make one and then work on it for months. So it's maybe over time it'll get easier as more people get into this world, but it's hard. Let's see. Sabina says, last week Amelia said, we're all researchers, and that really stuck with me. Well, that's pretty much what most of us are doing. It does. Steve says, I haven't really done anything to change my core web vitals, and my site continues to grow. Well, it plays into what folks are saying about core web vitals just being one component, like one aspect of the whole formula that chooses where to rank stuff. And it's probably where core web vitals will matter is if you have 2 pages, like 2 sites that are basically equal all the way to the end. Maybe that's where it will make a difference, right? If you're equal and everything, like the content quality and the authority and the links and all of the things, like in the end, maybe the site that has better core web vitals will get the bump. But until then, it's hard for me to see that Google would just look first to the fastest site and then pick the site that's the fastest, barring every other aspect of its formula. Mohammed says, I just say I work for Google. And then they're like, really? What do you do for Google? I'm like, I don't even want to explain. Margaret says, just check the search console and my mobile web vitals suddenly switched to green on June 20th. I hadn't noticed that. The desktop stays red. Yeah, I just think there's a lot of changing going on right now, and there's a lot of adjusting, and it's hard to know what Sabina says, haha, that's hilarious. We all work for Google, I guess. It does feel like it, doesn't it? That we create content and then Google takes it and does what they want with it. Donna K says, LOL, yes, I'm in the MIGA group. It's really keeping me accountable, and I'm seeing how much work I'm doing week by week. You know, for some folks it works, and for some folks it really doesn't. Like some folks don't like to see day in and day out that they need to do something, and they feel pressure that they don't like, and that's okay. Like everybody has their own process, and it works for me and it works for some people, and the folks that it works for are always welcome to hang out, and for folks that doesn't, like, it doesn't. Donna K also says, I'm currently at 10,000 sessions per month with 80 posts. However, over 70 of these posts have been published within the last 3 months. I started my new blog with 5 posts and left the site to age for 6 months. So let's see, to get to Mediavine though, you need another 40,000 sessions. I wonder how many posts that's going to take. Yeah, I'd be really curious to watch and see how that goes. She says, I started my new site with 5 posts and left the site to age for 6 months, but now I wish I had gotten the content up sooner, but you had no idea. Yeah, there's something to be said for starting a site and then letting it age. And I go opposite that usually, which is start a site and then launch it with as much content as possible and then back off and kind of let it do its thing. But I think it can all work as long as you are like consistently pushing content to at least one of your sites, at least making progress somewhere. I think both of those strategies can totally work. Devin says, just got in from work. Perfect timing. Definitely. And let us know what it is that you are doing and what it is that you are working on. I also was hoping that folks in the chat could maybe, like, usually I try to deliver updates and like information, but I've basically been offline for 4, 5, 6 days. So I would like to know, what did I miss, right? Like I saw a post when I was like swiping, I saw that Carl started a new YouTube channel to do like short stuff and maybe his TikTok. So I haven't had a chance to check that out yet. I knew already that Alex sold his site, but I saw that he went on the Niche Website Builders podcast. So that's on my to-do list to go and check that out. I saw that Fix finally sold his site he had been talking about selling, and I forget where he sold it. If he did Flippa, if he did it with Motion Invest. I thought it was his gaming site. I thought that's what it was, but he said that he had just finally completed that sale. And so it would be, I haven't seen the video come out on it, but if anybody else knows of any like the updates in our community, like the must go check out things, like I would love to hear it, because I like to go and check that content out and like know that it's there. Sabina says, I watched that podcast. Yeah, you know, the thing about the Niche Website Builder podcast that I'm enjoying is that it's familiar faces. There's a lot of people there and their stories that I know, and it's just really cool to see them, and also to know that I was in that like roster, and like to see my little face in there, like along with people that I respect and that I really like. And so it's cool. So check it out. They have a great podcast. One of the things that I have been working on this last week, and I'm kind of bummed that Core Web Vitals is making some changes, because John Gillum reached out to me because he's constantly creating tools, right? Like he's part of the Motion Invest founder team, and he's got all this stuff, and they created a speed tool. And he reached out to me in April, and he's like, do you want to try this? And I was like, yeah, sure. But then I dropped the ball completely because I've been so busy with the MIGA site. So I finally got it, and then they comped me the service, and so it's speedy.site. And I finally went through, and the service is like done for you. They do it all. It's really hands off. And so we just finished getting it set up maybe last week or the week before, and then Google does some updates, and it looks like they are going to be Core Web Vitals updates. And so now they went and did all this optimizing for Core Web Vitals, and I'm not going to know whether or not the changes made for the tool, because of the tool with the service versus the updates, like there's going to be no objective way to say it was the tool that did this. Like, I've been sitting on it, like waiting. I waited until I was going to wait till the Core Web Vitals stuff had all rolled out, and then it would be really easy to say one way or another, like the tool is great and here's what it did. And so now I am eventually going to do a review on the tool, and I'm not going to be able to say one way or another, like definitively, that if I had left it alone, that the Core Web Vitals wouldn't have improved on their own. So I still appreciate them giving me a chance to take a run at their product, and I'm not getting paid to say anything about it. I just like talking about the stuff that I'm working on. It's speedy.site. And basically it's for folks that aren't using like Leap and they don't want to do the optimizing on their own. So a lot of the stuff that they're doing for folks that do websites and who have experience with this, like it's going to be stuff that you could do. But for folks that feel intimidated by using something like WP Rocket, and they've heard about people using it and they don't know how to use it themselves, or they're afraid or intimidated by all of the technical sounding jargon, like that's a service that it would be really aimed for somebody who just wants someone else to do it. Like, just do it. What I can say already is that this site was one that was older and was not well optimized and got like somewhat decent scores for desktop, but mobile was atrocious. And everything is like extraordinarily fast now. And the reason that I've been like dragging my feet about creating a review for the tool is because I was waiting for Core Web Vitals to update. Because for me, it's like having a super fast site and spending money to update a site for making it super speedy needed to have a purpose. Because if it was doing just fine the way it was, even if it wasn't super fast, then investing money in a tool to make it basically the same as far, not necessarily user experience, but it didn't have, an overall like positive result on other metrics that would either maybe raise ranking or improve these other things that I was worried about. But yeah, the site looks like scores super amazing on all of the like GT metrics and all that stuff. So I want to see Core Vitals, those updates, before I come and do a review on the tool. So John and team, if you guys are watching this live and you're wondering where my review video is, that's where it is. I'm waiting to see how the Core Vitals look, and I'm hoping that they will update soon. I haven't checked it because I've been out of town, but I will be looking soon. Donna K says, yes, I think I can get into Mediavine. I'm also publishing content. Yep. Doing Pinterest and web stories to see how they help my traffic. I am wondering how people are doing on Pinterest, because a lot of folks, and I see a lot of the chatter amongst publishers, is they are getting off of Pinterest because Pinterest doesn't seem to be as effective as it was. And I would love to know who is doing Pinterest and how that is working out for them, if they're seeing positive or negative results, and whether or not they still think it is worth it to dump time and effort into pins and a Pinterest VA. Devin says, I live in the UK, work in medical recruitment, starting a site to get leads for my work. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Donna says, yep, I'm just learning about launching a site with tons of articles and watch from YouTube and listen to live streams. Yeah, I mean, I think it can work both ways. I really do. It's just my style is to launch with a lot and then go as hard as I can until I like, and I get tired and burned out on a site, and then start another one and learn something new from all of them. But I think whatever you do, as long as you're persistent and consistent, it will work out. Let's see. Sabina says, Tortoise Cashflow posted about Pinterest. Yeah, he hates Pinterest. He thinks Pinterest is stealing his traffic, and he's like, get out of here. He deleted all of his accounts. I knew that. And loving their guest choice. Yep, Niche Website Builders. I'm enjoying their podcasts, and I like their guests. Donna K says, people are seeing various things on Pinterest, but it's a great signal for Google, as I've seen from my first site. Once your pins take off on Pinterest, it ranks quicker in Google. Well, funny enough, on the MIGA site, I've been talking about there being one cluster of my articles that have not taken off, right? Like, I invested a couple of months in creating this cluster and it didn't take off, and I've been super bummed about it. Well, I went into my Pinterest account for my MIGA site just to see, what there was to see. And I noticed that my connection, my if this, then that, like automation that I was using to post new posts to Pinterest, had disconnected from Pinterest right around the time that I started that cluster. So up until I started that cluster, every single new article was going on Pinterest, and they seemed to be doing really well. And then the articles that were still getting posted to Facebook and still going to Twitter were not going to Pinterest. And those are the articles that are dead in the water right now. Now, can I say conclusively, one way or another, that the fact that I didn't post these new articles to Pinterest impacted whether or not they were to launch or to do anything? Of course not. I have no idea, but it just seems extremely coincidental that the articles that were getting a pin when they were published have taken off, and the articles done with the same keyword research strategy that might have been on a shoulder niche didn't take off. So was it Pinterest? The lack of the Pinterest pin when the article was posted, can I say that that's the reason? No, because it's on a shoulder niche that may or may not be relevant enough. But it's really hard for me to ignore that. It's really hard for me to ignore that. And so what I may spend some time this weekend doing is going back and creating pins for those articles that have not taken off and are getting no traffic, to see if somehow I can change the trajectory of those articles, which is flat. Totally flat. Steven says, I haven't seen many videos from our Hawaiian friend, Bo, Waves and Websites. I have not heard anything from Bo in 3 or 4 months, and I don't know what he's doing or how he's doing, but I hope above all that he's okay and that he's still working and doing all of this stuff. Right around the time that he took a break, Bo from YouTube, Bo had bought a site and was just dumping time and money into all of this stuff. And so I am just really hoping that what he's doing is working on his sites and not that's what I hope he's doing. So I would love to hear how he was doing and to hear an update from him. And Bo, if you're watching this, I hope you are well, my friend. And I look forward to talking to you whenever you can get around to it. Bilal says, my desktop speed is stable at 90 plus, mobile speed is 60-ish. I don't know how to improve any tips. Yeah, I'm definitely not the speed expert. My primary speed optimization techniques are to run as light of a theme as possible and to use few images. And when I use images, I put them down in the post rather than at the top. And then not do much else, like run very few plugins or tables or anything that would cause things to be slow. Because I have some sites with Ezoic, I'm using Leap on those sites, and it seems everything is green. So can I say one way or another whether any of those things that I'm doing are working? Nah, but it is cool to see everything in the green, especially running with Ezoic ads, because people love to talk about how Ezoic is notoriously slow. And they might be slow, but right now all of my core web vitals are green in Google Search Console, which has never happened. So I feel good about that. Bo, you remembered. I don't know. I think who remembered first? I don't know. But yeah, I miss Bo. I hope he's well. Mohammed says, I know some guys who use Pinterest, and the only problem is the things they are doing are not really white hat. Well, technically, I mean, most of us are doing things that aren't necessarily white hat, because doing anything with the intent of impacting Google search results is not white hat. I have to wonder if search engine optimization is white hat, gray hat versus black hat. I mean, I think of it as, are you doing something that Google will cancel all your accounts and cause you to lose your business? Then I think of that as black hat. And then white hat, I just think of everything else. I want to say get away with it. Basically do it and stay out of trouble, then yeah. Sabina says, crap, don't make me go back to making Pinterest pins. Yeah, I honestly don't do a whole lot as far as making a good looking pin. I mostly just want it there, right? I just want something over there that's the link there to there. And that's I really don't make anything exciting or interesting at all. Sabina says, I follow a Pinterest guru and she started a niche site and did a live training about it today. But I decided not to go because it was $27. I would say that if a training is something that you need right now, and that is a skill that you want to learn right now, and you're planning on implementing the information that you would go to learn right now, then sure, invest in it. But if it's something that you're like, oh, I'll use it later, or I might be interested in using it later, I'm like, just go write a blog post. Don't buy it unless you're sure that you need it like right now. And you say, "Oh, well, it might cost more later." I'm like, "So, you might never buy it. And it won't matter what it costs." Steve says, "Yeah, I think the last thing I saw was an interview with Bo and Doug. He was purchasing a brewing website. Yeah, I think he bought Matt Diggity's one of his sites, I think it was 52 Brews. I'm not sure, but it was one of the ones that Diggity was talking about that he bought and then flipped. And I have wondered what happened to it, how it's doing, but I don't know. Donna Case says, yep, as Pinterest is giving you backlinks and shows Google people are interested in this topic, so you have your article on Pinterest will help. That's what I've been seeing on my sites anyway. Yeah, I have started doing about 10 pins a day, but I don't want to do more than that because I've literally gotten one of my Pinterest accounts banned like regularly for all the various sites that I have on Pinterest. And so I feel like I'm constantly in the process of appealing the ban so I can get the account back in live. I don't know why or who or what or how, but it seems to happen to me constantly, like literally constantly. Another thing that I did, and I've talked about recently, was I took the MIGA site and I actually started a SERP robot account. And I don't say that because I want you to go sign up on it or there's an affiliate link anywhere. But I've talked a lot about not tracking keywords, and people are like, oh, you need to do this because then you'll know what's happening, during an update. And I find that it's just another thing that I go and check obsessively because I love seeing data and seeing progress. But what's interesting about it, right? So I have on the MIGA side, I think 228 posts. So that's 228 essentially long tail keywords that I have chosen to write content about, right? And so of the top 100 as of right now, only 149 of those 228 keywords are in the top 100. And, that's like, that's kind of a disappointing number, right? Because that means that the rest of those keywords, over 100 and a lot, are not in the top 100. And it shows me that about 80 or so of those keywords that are not in the top 100 are not even in the top 200. And so you're like, okay, that's a lot of stuff that could get me traffic if I could figure out how to get it ranking. But here's what I will say that is exciting about having this data. So it says 149 of my 228 keywords are in the top 100. And, having a keyword in the top 100 doesn't necessarily mean anything because it could be position 99, could be position 100. But get this, of those 149, 111 of those keywords are in the top 10. So over half, like I don't like dramatically more than half of my keywords that are in the top 100 are in the top 10, and 63 of those keywords. So 63 of the 149 are in the top 3. So I have tons of keywords on page 1, which is exciting. And in fact, I would say the majority of the keywords that are in the top 100 are on page 1. So I have a lot of work to do to try to get, those articles into the top 3, and to get them to the number 1 spot. But I guess that's the data that I could take. Like I could feel good about that, saying, all right, maybe I have a long way to go to get a lot of those keywords into the top 100 or even into the index, because maybe some of these keywords aren't even indexed, but still to have 111 of those keywords in month 7 to be on page 1 If that's truly good data, like, I take that as a win, like, that feels good. And I definitely rank for other keywords too, I just haven't inputted them all because I don't wanna pay more to track them. Mohammed says, "How much does a post cost you?" Let's see. I use Writer Access, and I right now when I do buy content, and I'm paying 2 cents a word for it. So it depends on how long the content is, but 2 cents a word, and then 1,000 words versus 2 cents a word and 2,000. I mean, it's so that's about the math. About $20 for 1,000 words. Did I do the right? Is that the right math? I think so. And when I have, I think I'm doing the math right. I think so. But yeah, so shorter posts cost less or more. I mean, on Writer Access, you can spend more per word if you want, or get your content written other ways. Donna K says, "I've gotten the SERP robot after watching Chris's video, and it's really helpful, as I noticed some of my articles were not indexed after even a month." Yeah, I mean, and they may not get indexed. I've noticed that it's interesting to see SERP robot trying to connect up the keyword to the post, because sometimes it connects the keyword to like a category page or to even a post that I didn't intend to have it link up to. It's like a similar topic. And so I wonder sometimes if Google is also being confused about which keyword I'm trying to rank for with a particular post. I don't know. I've only had it for what, a week and a half, maybe 10 days. And so it's been fun watching it, and over time seeing articles like make it into the top 200 and then fall out. I don't know. It's something interesting to use and watch. And it's so if you have a brand new site and you want to watch like the site grow, you can get your first robot. You can track up to 25 keywords for free. And then after that, it's $4.99 a month for an additional, I think, 300 keywords to track. And you're refreshing it on a daily basis, just every 24 hours. And so if you want to refresh it more often, like during an update, you just have to pay more. But so right now I'm paying $4.99 a month to track up to 325 keywords. But if you have a new site, like I said, you can get up to the first 25 keywords for free. And so it can be fun if you're building a new site slowly to just start a new account that way. Let's see. Marika says, "Got Ezoic Leap today on my dashboard, so I'm excited to see how it will work." Well, here's the thing. What I have noticed is that it is something that can take a while. So I think I got it back in April or May, and it is taken from then until now to have scores in the green. And I honestly don't know how much of that has to do with changes and updates in the Leap technology, or changes that I've made, or things being updated on the Google side. So if you're getting Leap, I would just say to be ready to be patient, and then also just kind of work on it over time. And so if you're expecting like everything to change like today, then you'll be disappointed, because it just takes a little while to figure things out, and also to get things set up, and sometimes like learning what the things are. So just don't be surprised if by even a couple weeks it's not where you want it to be. It just takes time. Donna K says, "Yep, that's what I've been seeing as well in Superbot and in my indexing in Google Search Console." Sarah says, "I've been struggling with many of my articles not indexing. I've noticed in Superbot that they pop in and out of being found." The thing about this, about Superbot, is that a lot of this stuff probably happens all the time, like things being indexed and not. And most of the time we aren't aware of it. And it's not necessarily even a thing to be alarmed about or to be upset about, because it just happens all the time. And if you weren't watching this, it wouldn't matter. And in the end, if it gets re-indexed fairly quickly, then it's probably just the normal state of things, like the normal course of things. But it is alarming to watch it and you see an article like bouncing in and out, and you're like, especially when you don't see any alerts in Google Search Console, and nothing is happening over there that you can do. Like it feels like there's nothing you can do aside from looking at those articles and then creating more interlinks from your site, like just working on the interlinking to that specific article, or to create external links in some way, social media posts, or even a backlink campaign, if that's something that you're into. Mostly I've been looking at the pages that are either not in the top 100 or even like not found in SERPRobot, and I've just started trying to build social signals to those posts to see if I can have a positive impact on those posts in some way to help them get into the, I guess, get into the index as far as SERPRobot is concerned, and then stay in there. Steve says, I think SERPRobot is a good tool. I think it's a good tool for the price for sure. It seems like anymore you can't hardly get anything, under $100 that is worthwhile and useful. And it's nice to have something that's just a simple tool that doesn't cost very much. That you say, okay, like I can justify this. Donna K says, where the referring post is different from my intended keyword, I thought I did something wrong. Good to know it's not just me. Yeah, I don't know if that's something I have done wrong or if that's SERPRobot, like figuring out where things go, or maybe Google is that confused as well. I don't know what to do about that just yet. Steve says, for the website that I started in January, I noticed that some of the articles haven't indexed yet. I used SERPRobot and found many more than 20 that hadn't been indexed. I've been requesting indexing with Google for about 2 weeks now, every couple of days, and some are starting to show in the SERP now. So the thing that's hard for me is when they show as not found in SERPRobot, but in Google Search Console, you specifically go to that article and you find it in the like valid or good, I forget what it's called in GSC, but it says that it is like, it shows it green, that it is indexed. You say, okay, well, what can I do then? It's one thing if it shows it as crawled, not indexed in Google Search Console, and SERPRobot says that it's not found. But if SERPRobot says it's not found, but Google Search Console says that it is indexed, then what do you do? I mean, I don't know what else to do aside from trying to build social media links to it or just do more interlinking. If anybody else has some thoughts, I'm open to them. Deb says, Debt Hater says, here and listening, feeding kids lunch. I'm still struggling with the persistence and consistency you were talking about, editing a 2,000 word post, and I've been working on all week. I forget who said it recently, but they were right. They said that success in building websites is doing the boring thing, like the least sexy thing, like over and over and over again, and doing it for the longest. And it's so true. It's fun to set up a new site, and it's fun to do niche research and the treasure hunt on keywords, but it's not as fun creating the content just like day in and day out. But if you can just find a way to make that happen, you could do it. And you're not the only one that struggles with it. It is really hard. And you can see why does it so many people move to outsourcing as soon as they can, because it removes that hurdle, right? It's so much easier and more fun to do the keyword research and then give the article to someone else. And then it just removes that hurdle of like that internal effort. Yeah, I could totally see why people outsource now. Like for the MIGA site, the most of the content for this month will be outsourced, and it feels really good to know that ship is still sailing forward, and I only did things for it that I like doing, and the hard stuff I'm not going to have to do this month. I'm going to be working on another site doing those things, but that's neither here nor there. Let's see. Stig says, I'm trying out word agents, $10 for 1,000 words. Yeah, I'd be curious to hear how that plays out. I love hearing how people are doing with other outsourcing platforms. And it seems like there will be a gem, right? Or like a jewel in the rough. And then as soon as everybody finds out about it, like they all get rushed and then their prices go up, and then it's harder for them to deliver a good service. So I guess I don't want you to say it too loudly how it goes if it's good, but at the same time, I'd still like to know how it plays out. There's Sue. What's going on? How's it going? It's good to see you and to hear how things are going. How are things going? I would love to know, and how you are. Steve says, most of them were crawled but not indexed. It's gray color. For the ones that are green indexed, I request again anyway. Okay, that's a good idea. Maybe I will look at the ones that are not found in SERPRobot and then just request that they index it again. And maybe that will take care of some of the ones that should be indexed by now. Like, it's been months. They should be in there. And I don't know why they're green when there's no reason why they would not be in the top 200. I mean, the keyword research on all of them is the same. So there's something that I need to connect up the dots somewhere to get those 80 articles into the index, because I think it will dramatically impact the traffic that this site has, which, by the way, I'm halfway through the month of July and already excited to make the month 7 report for the MIGA site. Let's see. Sabina says, you aren't alone. I'm frustrated by my lack of time. We're talking back to debt haters who is feeding the kids lunch. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when you're balancing family and work and the chores and the goals and all of the things, like moms and dads. But the only option is to not give up, is to not do it, right? And to give up. And that for me is not an option. It just means that I will go slower than people who have more time. And I will do like less TV watching, and I will probably do fewer chores, right? Like, you can't see my yard. My yard is a mess of dandelions right now because I would rather do this. I need to do this. That's more important to me than mowing my weeds. I'm looking at them out the window right now. I'm just going to do this. It's more important to me, but we'll get there. I think we just got to not give up. Yep. I got so frustrated, but I get 2.5 articles a week. I went through a phase where I couldn't get any articles written in a month. Like, it was awful. And I finally got back on the writing track again this year, but last year was really hard. The second half of the year, I got almost no writing done, and it was demoralizing. Sue says, I'm good, thanks. A bit of a swerve in direction the last couple weeks as I've started doing some work for Alex. Well, I still think it's fun and interesting to work with other folks, and there's a lot to be learned by working for other folks, especially when we're sort of in the skill gathering phase here online. So I think it's great. And who knows, maybe it will change the direction of where you are going. I don't know. I'm excited to hear about it. Stig says, add a video link at the bottom of all the underperforming posts. It seems to help on my hobby sites, at least. So question, are these videos that you made, or are these videos that you are embedding? Are you actually embedding the video in the post, or are you just including the link? Like, here's a cool video with the link, with the hyperlink. I'm super curious now. I'm about willing to try just anything that seems legit that would work. Mohammed says, as I said, I do traffic arbitrage. And one thing I noticed, every time I get traffic to a post, even I spend $1, it gets indexed for a few days, 1 or 2. That was one of the things that John Mueller suggested, which was for posts that were struggling with indexing, was to buy traffic to those posts, which seems strange. But, it's like, if you can put the post on Google's radar that it is a valuable post, then they will be more likely to index it and show it. So that's what I've been thinking of as far as creating social media links to that, to say, hey, Google, here's something that's out there. You should check it out. But I don't know. I think it's going to take more than a week to make it happen. Stig says let's see. Donna K says, adding a video, will it help these posts? I will try this. And he says, it seems to. Well, again, Stigs, please tell me, where are you putting this video and how? Is it embedded, or is it just the hyperlink? Because I'm going to try this. I'm totally going to try this. Mohammed says, I can't say for sure, but I'd say it's the traffic. One of the things that I've definitely seen across the sites that I've started in the last couple of years is that when I've managed to get some sort of accidental social media traffic or some sort of share that brought traffic to the site sooner, it seemed to grow more quickly. I don't know how or why or who or how, but is a correlation and causation. I mean, it ties into what John Mueller says, which is, if you can get people going through the site and show Google that it's a place people want to be, that maybe it will help those initial posts take off sooner. Hey, Dee, how's it going? She says she's late. Just wanted to drop in and say hi. Dee, it's been great to see you in the MIGA group and great to have you. And I'm actually going over there to look. My own performance in the group in the last week has been abysmal because I've been out in the woods. But I did want to welcome Alina. If Alina is here, and jumped in and mentioned that they had plans to do some work and would love to see you update. But it's cool to see you in there, Dee, and doing some work. It helps me stay on track, and so I like it. Donna K says, I've heard this from someone else. If you paid for traffic to your site, even just for a few days, it will help, but I have not tried this. Yeah, I haven't tried it either. Sue says, yes, about learning some other skills and doing some other work. Says learning a lot, still working on my own site, but less so. I'm thinking I may need to change direction entirely in terms of niche. You know, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you learn new things as you go and you realize, okay, I tried that and it can work, and or maybe I've learned what I've needed to and I'm ready to do something else. I don't know. I just think that the fact that you're in there and trying things out and learning, it's gonna work eventually. Maybe it's the site that you're working on right now. Maybe it's the next one. Maybe it's 2 sites from now. I don't know, but the fact that you're in it and still trying, I think it's going to make the difference. All right, it's holy cow. How is it already an hour? What are you going to get done between now and next Wednesday? Here's what I'm going to get done, and it would be a great accountability moment. Put it out there. I know folks are here. There's Stiggs and Sabina and Mohammed and Donna Kay and Alexander, if he's still here on vacation, and Steven. What are you going to get done between now and next Wednesday? For me, I'm going to get all of the content that I outsourced that is currently waiting for me in my writer access dashboard. I'm going to get that edited and posted today. I'm going to make my cage fight video and get that published hopefully by the end of the week so that next Wednesday we can talk about it and talk about it more. And then I also want to get 3 at least. I got 2 weeks to go to write the rest of that content. So 3 posts is not going to be enough. I need to get 7 posts done. I need to write, I'm writing this down for myself. I need to write 7 posts for the cage fight site. I got to do that by next Wednesday. All right, I'm committing to that, and I need you guys to kick me if I don't get it done. So that's the plan, is to get 7. I'm like, see me like, oh God, like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. What are you guys gonna do? I would love to hear it, and I would love to just see your goals because it will help me stay on track. And if you guys are in the on the replay, put it down in the comments. It's super motivating to other people to hear what it is that you're planning on doing. I know it seems like a small thing, but there are a lot of people who I think get a lot out of these streams as far as accountability and just seeing and knowing what folks are working on. So if you don't know it off the top of your head now, drop it in the comments later and say, what are you going to do to move your business forward? Whatever it is. If it's YouTube, if it's websites, if it's e-commerce, just or even life. Like, what are you going to do to move the ball forward? Mohammed says, you used to be a lawyer. Kicking you is not. You're probably right. Don't kick me. You'll be sorry. Even though I like gave you permission and authority to do so. Let's see. Sabina says, I love Wednesday. I enjoy speaking with you guys as well. It's been great. Sue says, I'm going to try to get started with Ezoic by next Wednesday. Again, if it doesn't work with the site, it'll be good to learn how to do it. I think so too. I think that technology can be really overwhelming. And so sometimes even going at it and failing will be good experience for the next time, because then you'll know what you're doing and you'll know what to expect so that it won't be so overwhelming. Margaret says, still looking to hit 1 post per day. Margaret, if anybody can do it, I think it's you. Truly. You're one of the most motivated, hardworking people that I've ever seen here on the internet, and I think you can do it. I'd like to hear more about how outsourcing is going, if you actually jumped in and went to it, because I think it's going to help you a lot. Dead Haters says, thank you to Sabina, and so okay, Dead Haters is Alina. All right, I'm going to put over here on the spreadsheet, Alina, I'm just going to put Dead Haters, if that's okay, so I can remember. And then get into the spreadsheet and tell us how things are going. And if it's you wrote 100 words in a day, then feel free to let us know how you did so that we can like digitally pat you on the back. Sabina says, I'm a bit lost. I just finished my first batch of keywords, so I've got to make a new list and I want to do it in topics. So I guess I will try to do that. Just try to focus on small bites. It doesn't have to be 20 keywords. It doesn't have to be 100 keywords. It could just be the next 5 articles. Just make sure if you're struggling to say, okay, well, how do I know if they're clusters? So could you legitimately link them to each other? Like, could they legitimately like support each other? Could they, without having to like make up a reason to add the links, like could these somehow be related to each other under the same topic? And would linking them to each other be easy? I gotta think that you could find some keywords in your niche that you say, okay, these are easy to link to each other. Sarah says, 1 or 2 articles. I'm working on my homeschool portfolios for my kiddos and next year's school plan in July. Yep, when you have kids, the stuff doesn't stop. I'm currently teaching fishing. That's the other reason why I'm this brown, is because I spent the weekend tying fishing lines and walking through the river to pull out hung up fishing line and stuff. But that's what we're working on because it's important. Donna K says, getting 5 more posts published and create some more web stories. I would love to hear how web stories go. It's not something I have tried at all, but I would love to hear from anybody who's having success with web stories. Mom Man Up says, Sarah is an evaluator in my home state. Oh, that's cool. It says small world or what? Devin says, I have so many ideas for sites. It is unbelievable. That is not unbelievable. That is totally believable. You should see the Google Sheet I have on my phone. Every time I think of an idea for a new site, I go and put it in there. And that list is like getting longer and longer every day. Stig says, most relevant YouTube videos I find to embed. Others you will just do the voiceover for stock footage. Okay, that's good to know. Margaret says, ooh, did try outsourcing and waiting back on some articles. Well, it'll be exciting to hear how that goes and whether or not the quality was good enough, because I know how important quality is to you. All right, so all my outsourced content, at least 1 YouTube video, and 7 articles. All right, well, I have a lot of work to do, so I'm going to get to it. Folks, I enjoyed our Wednesday chat. I'm sorry that I got like a slow start and called people the wrong names, but I'm awake now and I'm ready to do work. And I have everyone here to thank for that. I'm looking forward to checking in with everyone next week. Yeah, go out, get some stuff done. Have a good one. All right. Take care. And off.